لا لا بقية.
Good morning, everyone. Today we're going to speak about the small blood vessel. But the small blood vessel contains the lymphatic cell, small vein, and the capillaries, and the small artery. So first of all, we need to understand what does it mean, the small blood vessel. And then I'm going to explain to you the structure which consists from what and what is its names. So the small blood vessels are very important because they are the connection between the large arteries and veins. They include the small arteries, small veins, capillaries, and lymphatic vessels. All of them work together to transport the blood and the fluids throughout the tissues. These vessels are found in almost every organ, and their structure is adapted to their function. Also, it's carrying oxygenated blood, returning deoxygenated blood, or draining the lymph. So in this presentation, first, I will give a short idea about small blood vessels in general. Then I will explain, as I mentioned, the structure. The first structure that I'm going to speak about is the small vein. And this is the small arteries. And we have the capillaries, and also we have a lymphatic cell, but the lymphatic vessels, but here in this photo we don't have it, it's in another computer. So now we're going to speak about the small vein. Small vein carries the blood back toward the heart after it passes through the capillaries. They have a larger and irregular lumen. It have a larger and irregular lumen. Compared and have a thinner wall if we compare it to the small artery. The small artery is thick, but here it is thinner than the small artery. The tunica media, the muscle layer, is thin, usually made of only of a few layers of smooth muscle cells. So the thin layer of the small vein is consists of the smooth muscle and a few of them. Also, we're going to speak about the function of the small vein. The function is to collect the blood from the capillaries and deliver it to the large arteries. So this small vein is working with the large arteries. It's collect the blood and then transfer it to the large arteries.
To large artery?
Yeah.
Just to carry the blood from the small vein to
No, it's carry the blood from the capillaries that is there.
to the small
And
vein.
in the small vein, and then transfer it to the large arteries. Large one.
No. At first, we'll just to the medium-sized vein, and then large vein, and into the heart. And then from the heart, the blood is released into the large artery.
All right. So it's to the large. Then in the large artery.
Yeah, no. It's carried to the large artery. It is right, but not directly.
All right. Yeah, not directly. Sorry. So it's going to the large artery, but not directly. Then first it's going to go to the large vein, and then it's going to go to the large artery after passes through the heart. Right? Yeah. So how to identify it under the microscope? Because our exam is in the microscope, most of it, the most important one. So how to identify this cell under the microscope? First of all, the lumen. The lumen opening is wide and irregular in shape. The wall, as we mentioned, it is thin, and the muscle layer, tunica media, is much thinner than the small arteries. Sometimes red blood cells are visible inside, not always. As this photo is visible, but in others, maybe you will not see the red blood cell. Now we're going to speak about the small lymphatic, but we have to change the screen. So as you can see, this is the lymphatic vessels. This is small lymphatic vessels carry the lymph, not the blood. As we mentioned, the artery and vein carry the blood, but the lymphatic is carry the fluid, the lymph, not the blood. They help to return the excess tissue fluid to the bloodstream and they play a role in immune defenses. So it is a play role in immune defenses. Their walls are very thin, made of endothelium and a small amount of connective tissue, not small muscle. It's a concept of connective tissue, and they don't have a red blood cell. Inside, they may contain a few lymphocytes or valves. This is the valve, and this is the lumen, and this is the lymphocytes. This is the fluid that is help us in the immune defenses. Their wall, as we mentioned, is very thin. So they may contain a few lymphocyte valves that will prevent the backflow. So the benefit of that valve, this is the valve. The benefit is to help us to prevent the backflow. So the function of the lymph, all of it, from tissues, and return it to the larger lymphatic trunk. It is to drain the lymph. So the function is to drain the lymph from tissues and return it to the larger lymphatic trunks. So how to identify it under the microscope? The lumen is clear, no red blood cell. It is because it don't have the blood, it has the lymph. The wall is very thin and delicate, often appears collapsed or irregular in shape. And sometimes you can see the bulb. In this cell we can see the bulb, but in the others maybe we cannot see this line that is called valve. So this is all I have. Thank you very much.